All right. Next video is the gas block and the gas tube, and aligning those on the barrel. A couple different points we're going to be talking about in this one. See if I can find that little tool. So you have your gas block, many different styles, gas tube, and then there's a pin that holds the gas tube into the gas block. At the bottom of the gas block, you have, this one has 2 set screws. Okay. One thing to remember on the gas tube is that hole there. Okay, that's for the pin that'll hold it in. But on the bottom side, you see that hole? Well, that's your hole that connects to the gas tube port. All right, so you have to remember when you install this thing that hole in the gas tube has got to be facing down to line up with the hole in the gas block. If you put it on the other way, you got a problem. I think you could probably still, because that pin is exactly in the center of that rod, yes, you can do it both ways. You can put it on wrong. So just remember that hole goes towards the bottom, the big hole on the gas block, and then that'll line up. Once that's lined up, that pin should be lined up, and then you drive that drift pin in there. Okay. Now, what I was looking at here earlier, I don't know if I can do this, but I have this Real Avid, I'm calling it a master bench block. But they don't make a good way to do a gas tube onto a gas block to pin it. But I found this spot here that holds it real pretty steady. The only problem is when you put the gas tube on it, it doesn't line up. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this thing. Maybe if I can go off this side of it, right? And then I'll just maybe I'll cut a notch in there so that gas tube will protrude, and I can hold this solid against the gas block while I pound that pin. I don't know. I'm looking for something to do on board. So next video, that should be done. Give me a minute. Okay, so with this Real Avid AR-15 Master bench block, I had to do some modification in order to get my gas block and gas tube and gas block pin in this thing. So again, I read the instructions for that thing. I'm surprised they don't have anything like this, but this thing fit perfectly in there, but the gas tube was hidden. So I just took a little Dremel with a sanding disc and dished that out. So now this thing's going to sit in here solid as we drive that pin into that gas tube, through the gas block into the gas tube. Okay, so that's basically the pin. I showed you that earlier. I'm going to get this thing set up in there, and then grab a hammer and get it done, and then we'll move on. Give me a minute. All right, on the gas block, gas tube pin, basically I just use needle nose, hold it there. This is my trusty gunsmith hammer. I like something soft but hard like maple. And then get that pin started. Just tap it in and get it started. Make sure your gas tube is in the right position with the hole on the bottom of the gas tube facing the barrel. And then line up your pin, and it's basically just push it until it's flush, and you should be good to go. Okay, that's installed. Might want to test it out. That way you know you got it in right, at least. Okay, so that's done. Then this will slip on. Get it over here. Slip on your barrel. Line up your gas tube hole in your barrel nut. Slip that thing down. And then we have to make sure now in the barrel that the hole in the barrel and the hole in the gas block are lined up A couple different ways to do that. I've seen guys, they'll take a straight edge of some sort, you know, a business card or something, and then they'll draw a line, scratch a line in the center of that hole. I tried that once. I thought of this the other night, is using a piece of angle iron, resting it up against that. That way it sits on there perpendicular, I guess, or parallel with that hole. And then you can scribe that if you wanted to. And I think, let's see if I have, you could probably use either, maybe put a piece of blue tape there or a marker and just scribe a line or mark a line. But what I bought, I explained this in the other videos, is this HB Industries GBA, that gas block aligner for 22 cal / AR-15, patent pending. They're out of Arizona. Precision pins for exact alignment between the AR-15 barrel, gas port, and low profile gas blocks, adjustable gas blocks, front sight base. So bought them. They were $5 for a set of pins, and they're different sizes depending on the hole in your barrel. And let's see, which one was it? This one. So it'll just drop right down in there. It'll sit flush with the surface or a little bit below. And as you push on the barrel nut and rotate it 180 degrees, that pin should fall out or fall into the gas block hole. And then you know that you're lined up. And then you tighten your gas block down, flip it back over, ram a cleaning rod through there. It'll break half of this pin off. I don't know if I'm explaining this in the right order. And then you pull the cleaning rod out. The second half will drop down in the barrel, and you push it out. Catch two pieces, you're good. So let me get this going, and I'll get back to you. All right, so here's my thought, what's going on here right now with these lineup pins for the gas block. What a pain. But hear me out. So I got one in here, dropped down, and it won't drop back out. So I think the size was just too tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch that one out. So I just got a cleaning rod down here. If it's long enough. Might not have been. Probably not long enough. Let me get a longer one. Give me a second here to reach over. Put one together. Oh, man. But I think that pin, it was just too tight. So I'm going to try the next size down. This thing doesn't have to be perfect, but I like the idea of it being perfect. So the line-up pin and the hole in the gas block. So let's push that one out. There it is. So there one fell out, if you could see that. So it busted it in half, right? But this one here, this half of it is just stuck right there. So pull my rod out, push that in, and then what the heck? What? Is that it? Something's going on here. Not so sure what. That's pissing me off now. Yeah, it's stuck in there. I'll tell you what. Jeez Louise, these things. I like the idea, but I'm losing their concept on me. I don't think that pin dropped all the way down. Come on. Jeez, what is my mental problem tonight? Alright, so here's a drill bit. Exact size of that. I see the rod hitting the orange down in there. It just feels like a solid hit. There it is. And there's the second pin. I don't know, I was just freaking out there for a minute. But So that's how it would work. You know what I mean? Put your pin on there. I'm going to try it the next size smaller. There's a line-up pin. See, this one just drops right in. Okay? Jeez. Drops right in. Put your gas tube and gas block over that hole. And let's see what happens when we flip it upside down. Flip it upside down. And you see how it's not coming out. Just a little off on that. Right? Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because the hole in the gas block is quite large. So it's just got to get over that hole in the barrel. But we're going to try that. Back it out a little bit. It's hitting the edge of it. Maybe I'll split the difference. And then once I tighten these down, one of them might fall into the dimple that the barrel came with. So we'll see. But that's how these things work, right? These pins just drop down in the barrel, put the gas block over it, flip it over, let the pin drop back down in the gas block, line up, and then tighten it. So sorry about that. It's kind of a pain, but it's actually quite simple when you got it. So talk to you on the next step here. We're going to try something many people speak against or don't like to do, but I got the gas block lined up, and what holds the gas block onto the barrel are these two screws, Allen head screws. And if you look real close, I don't know, you can see that thing's it's got a pattern to it. The rough surface. Anyway, what I'm going to add, and a lot of people say that red Loctite, once it gets hot enough, which is true, it'll free up. I don't know what the temperature rating is of this stuff, but I've heated some red Loctite up with torches. It takes a little bit, but so we got it all lined up. This one will go in, tighten that up a little bit, and the second one there has got a dimple in the barrel, so it's actually sitting right now in a dimple. We'll see. I'll take a look at that maybe in a year or whatever and see if that thing loosened up. So here's the one in the dimple, and what I like to do, maybe there's a problem with people, they're loosening up because when they put the thread locker on there was oil or grease on the threads. So I like to take a shot of brake clean the threads in this thing. Okay. Clean the part, or the screw, the Allen head screw. That's got grease on it too. Squeaky clean. And then apply your thread locker. Try a little bit more on that one. Okay, put that in there. Crank it tight. Gas block is installed. Barrel nuts on. Let's try that. So I'll have to do a little bit of research, find out how long it takes for this Loctite to set up and the temperature ratings. But I'm gonna let it set up a little bit, and then we'll work on getting the hand guard on next. So I don't know, it's getting there. Talk to you in a bit.